Okay, good evening, everybody. And thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we want to respect your time. So I'm just going to jump right in. I am David McMahon, CEO and founder of OcuSci Inc. Really pleased to have Dr. Doug DeVries joining us tonight, and where he will be treating a patient live in just about 10 minutes here. So I'm going to go ahead and just cover some of the solutions, and we're really excited to tell you about the new MGRX, the meibomian gland treatment system that Dr. DeVries will be using. So OcuSci was founded in 2011, so we've been around for quite a while. We're in thousands, we've worked with thousands of patients. We're in hundreds of clinics worldwide, and we've got multiple published studies, a few that I'll cover tonight. So I'm not only the founder, but I'm also a patient. Those are my glands you can see there with some pretty significant dropout. So I am a user of most of these products we're going to talk about here. So OcuSci is really the only company that's got the full continuum of care. So we've got the MGRX system to treat meibomian gland dysfunction and dry eye. And then, of course, the home care products that are so important to making sure that these glands stay open and operating. So real quickly, I know from the survey that a lot of you filled out that most of you are already carrying a dry eye compress, and that's great. This is our third generation of dry eye compresses, and it's really pretty unique in that because of this patented feature, Hydro Block, it actually blocks the steam. I've got our USB version here. So this compress actually has a waterproof coating on the inside of the front to block the heat and steam from actually coming out the front, and sends that heat and steam back to the patient's eyelids. So what that means is we actually are delivering 10 minutes of heat and moisture to those eyelids. It's something that really no other compress can do. So that, along with several other patented features, really gives you a much more clinically effective compress. On top of that, we're really the only company that will put your logo right on the compress itself. So you can contact us about that. Pretty easy to do, pretty low minimums, pretty nice feature to have to remind your patients of their doctor. And just, one further illustration here, you're going to notice that we're big on clinical studies and objective evidence. That's really what we're all about. So you can see here the eyelids of this patient, room temperature prior to using the compress, 3 minutes with our microwavable dry eye compress, and those eyelid temperatures increased 7.8 degrees up to 106.7, which takes you right to that number, 41.5 C, is the optimal temperature to melt meibum. That's where you want to get those lids to and get that meibum to. So our compress will do that in just 3 minutes. So again, clinically designed and very effective. Our USB compress, which I was just showing you, is also really nice, has many of those same features, and very convenient. This is becoming very popular. And in fact, a lot of docs are using this prior to the MGRX treatment to give the patient that spa-like experience. 5 minutes with the USB compress, just plug it in right there in the patient chair. Send the patient home with the compress. If they've already used it, they know that it works and really feels good. And then I think that will encourage them to use it at home as well. So I think that's a really good way to go, and enhances the entire treatment with the MGRX. So both of these compresses come with a 1-year warranty, which I don't believe anybody else offers. And that is all handled through our website. You don't have to deal with it if there were any problems. Here's one of our published studies. Like I said, we've been in dry for 13 years now, and our Dry Eye Complete is one of our really well studied products. This is Alaskan wild caught omega-3 plus Mackey berry. We've just added, so that's new to those of you out there already using our product. We've just added Mackey berry, which enhances natural tear production. And we really like that to enhance the effectiveness of it. On top of that, it's got lutein and zeaxanthin and vitamin D3. So it's really specifically designed to treat dry eye and also help protect that macula with those ingredients that we know do that. So this published study used both the dry complete and our microwavable compress, which is right here. You can see it comes in a nice premium packaging. 5 minutes with the compress per day, 3 of the dry eye complete per day. And with just that treatment for 30 days, patients saw a decrease in OSDI score by 49%. And one of the details in here that I really like is that all patients improved. So we are very confident when we say you will feel improvement in your dry eye symptoms in just 30 days. On top of that, 81% increase in tear breakup time. So this home care really does work. But if you've got blocked meibomian glands, you're going to need to unblock those for this really to be the most effective that it can be. So with that, let's talk about the MGRX. Right there, you see the entire system, small footprint, featuring the handheld device, battery powered, small, easy to use, doesn't take up a lot of counter space. And I'm going to take you through the other components here. The preheater that you see on the left is just designed to preheat those instruments such that we can save both battery with the handheld device and your time. In our first kind of development of this product, we didn't have the preheater, and it ended up taking 3 minutes to heat up these instruments from room temperature up to 110, 112 where they are for treatment. And that just wasn't an effective protocol and an effective use of your time. So now that switching time between instruments is just about 45 seconds. So really quick. So you can do an entire patient treatment in about 10 minutes. The 3 instruments you see there, I'm going to take you through debridement, massage, and expression, all with heat, something pretty unique to our industry. So the 3 steps you're going to use in your protocol, the MGRX, really is the only trimodal device. So we're doing a trimodal treatment all with one device. So first treatment is going to be debridement, thermal debridement. We invented that. And what that is decapping the glands, removing that biofilm. I should say that a lot of our docs have their techs doing this entire treatment, so really no doctor time. Or the approach that I really like is where you'll have the tech do the first 2 steps, and then the doctor comes in and does just the expression. So the expression is going to take maybe 2 minutes. You get to review it with your patient. You get to see what comes out of those glands. And I think that's a really good way to do this. So in order to change the instrument, all you're going to do is tell the device with a double click that you want to change the instrument. And for that next step, you're going to use the thermal massage. So all you need to do is load that in the device and tell the instrument that you have loaded it. It will test temperature. It's 1,000 times a second actually, and power up or power down to make sure they're locking in. It's locking in that correct temperature. So massage is done at 44 Celsius, about 112 Fahrenheit, and that will lock in about 45 seconds. 2 minutes per eyelid, includes a 2-minute timer. So you just press this button down, gives you a 2-minute timer. Double beep tells you 30 seconds have elapsed. 30 seconds on the upper eyelid, 30 seconds on the lower eyelid. Very easy to do, using a little bit of ultrasound gel and a little bit of pressure. A lot of patients will get substantial expression just doing this, just kind of depends on the patient. But again, we've decapped those glands such that we can now express, but first we want to really warm up that meibum using the massage. Last step is going to be the expressor itself. And I know all of you have probably done expression using a cold expressor. Maybe you're using a tear care and you're using that manual expressor. As you know, the eyelid temperature cools very quickly. And the several benefits of our device, first of all, pressure limited. So this can only put about 12 psi on an eyelid. So when we are expressing that gland, we don't need to use a ton of pressure there. That's locked in temperature, as I said, about 45 seconds. We don't need to use a ton of pressure because we are using heat throughout. So the red paddle, as you can see here on my screen, is heated. So this is 43C. The blue is not. And the blue is internal to the eyelid and the red is external. So again, we're keeping heat on that eyelid. So you simply, patient is supine in the chair, pull out that eyelid, slide in the blue paddle, completely depress the lever, and just move along that lid. I think you're going to hear Dr. DeVries say in his treatment that he really likes to do 2 passes because the first is kind of getting that block out. Maybe it's the harder to get out meibum, and then the second is really kind of clearing out that gland and getting it working. So I really like that approach. And for the upper lid, all you have to do is change that angle. You can see it's angled perfectly. And we're just going to pull up that lid, slide in, and depress across the lid. And again, you're going to see Dr. DeVries do this in just a couple of minutes here. So it's as simple as that. It's a 3-step protocol. That is what our clinical study was based on, which I'm going to show you right now. So we just had our study published in November of last year. 72 eyes, so statistically significant, using speed score, tear breakup time, and meibomian gland score. So all kind of gold standard metrics. Baseline was taken for those metrics, 1 MGRX treatment, and then a follow-up metrics are taken 30 days after that treatment. So the first one we're going to see here is speed score. And 30 days after 1 MGRX treatment, 42% improvement in speed score. Again, 1 treatment. On tear breakup time, a tripling, 145% improvement in tear breakup time, 30 days post-treatment. And then this one, I think, really tells the story. So meibomian gland scoring, grading that meibum that comes out of those glands, 342% improvement. So what does that mean? So that means a lid had 3 glands working and now it's got 9. So these are really significant improvements that impact patients' lives. No side effects reported as well in the treatments. These are some of the comments that we got from the patients in the clinical study. Now I can wear my contacts again. That's a big one. And as you know, number 1 reason for contact lens dropout is dry eye. So we really expect patients to feel better within 24 hours of treatment because we've unblocked those glands, and then those glands need to refill, but we have cleared them and taken off that biofilm. So we really do expect it to be that quick. So kind of in summary, the MGRX, it's the only trimodal device that exists and no disposables. So there is no disposable cost. There is no cost per patient. That enables you to charge, kind of what you see fit for your patients. And we are going to ask Dr. DeVries some of these questions that you've written in, and I see some coming in on the chat as well. So we're going to ask him some questions about, his kind of methodology around treatments and how he discusses that with patients. Clinician time can be 0. Many doctors have their techs doing the whole thing, or maybe you just come in and do the expression, 2 minutes of your time. ROI for this device is going to be paid off in 30 patients. And we do offer a 4-year warranty for the device. So I think that's the only one in the industry. And I should mention, after 2 years, there is a battery replacement and recalibration and factory recertification of the device. After 2 years, the battery is going to be shot. That's going to be about $1,000 charge, and you get a device with another 2 years of warranty, so 4 years. So we like to say 1 treatment, happy patients. Your patients are going to feel the benefit, and it's going to be quick. So with all that being said, let me introduce Dr. DeVries. I'm really thrilled that he was able to do this. He's a very busy man between all his speaking engagements and all the dry eye patients that he has. I just showed up a couple hours ago, and he's treated 4 patients since I've been here with the MGRX device. So that's how busy he is. Let me just brag on him for just a minute here. Co-founder of the Eye Care Associates of Nevada, which is a very impressive facility. A lot of patients coming through here. And nationally recognized dry eye expert. I'm sure many of you have seen him speak. He has a very busy speaking schedule all over the country and has for many years. Does a lot of education, directs the optometric residency program here at the Eye Care Associates. And in general, let me just say that he is just a wealth of knowledge of the history of technologies that have come out for dry eye. He's got them all. He works with many, many companies, and he has them all here in his office. So he has everything at his disposal. So, having him evaluate and use our devices is really important for someone who has all that background. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Dr. DeVries and let him go ahead and show us how he treats a patient. And from there, we'll do some FAQs. So thank you very much. And here's Dr. DeVries.
So I just want to demonstrate how this is done on a patient and what type of time it takes to actually do a thermal expression on a patient. So we'll go ahead and start. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the heated debrider on this. And on this MGRX, again, we have the heated debrider, we have the heated massager to really warm the lid up to somewhere around 10 to 12 degrees of a body temperature, and then we follow it by the thermal expression. So I'm going to start first with debriding the lids, and it's just simple, just in free space like this, just being able to hold and go across the eyelid margins. This is simply going to remove the biofilm. Then I'm going to have you look down. And as simple as that, then we've actually done a heated debridement of the eyelid margin. Then we're going to change the tip on this, and we're going to go to a heated massage. And what I'm going to do is just have the patient look up now. And what I'm doing is I'll just spend about 30 seconds here, and there's a timer that will count down. And let me know when we've hit the 30 seconds to warm the lid. And now look down, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit the upper lid here. There's a little bit of ultrasound gel on this just so you can slide this back and forth and get a good thermal connection. And then with the beep, we're going to do the upper or the lower again. Look up for me. Again, just heating these lids up to about 10 to 12 degrees higher than body temperature, just to help liquefy and make that meibum just a little easier to express. Now look down for me. And all of these are temperature controlled as well. Now I'm going to switch the device. I'm going to put the expressor in. And all we need to do is advance it to the expression mode. It's been in the preheater, so it's at the proper temperature. The red side is heated. Again, as we're doing the thermal expression, we maintain the heat on the lid. And look up for me. And what I like to do when I'm going across is do 2 passes, just because you tend to get some of the meibum coming up, and then on the second pass you always seem to get a little bit more production. Now I'm going to have you look down. And look way, way down. There you go. Try to get over the other eye and look down. There you go. And just another pass across here. And you can see how quickly you can actually go through, do a debridement, a heated debridement, warm the lids for about 2 minutes, and then do the expression. You can see how quickly you can provide one of these thermal expression procedures. And all of this is automated, it's temperature controlled. So all you have to do is change the accessory. It will warm up the different tools on this, and you can proceed. But you can see that you can actually do that full treatment on an eye in really just a matter of minutes.
So we're just going to stay here now with Doug. Wow, that was quick. I've got a list of questions
Okay.
that have come in from the audience. And first of all, thank you very much. And thank you to the patient as well. So a couple of questions. One, you have everything at your disposal, and I know you do a lot of IPL. How do you see this working with IPL? How would you integrate the two in your practice?
Well, when I'm doing intense pulse light treatment, I always like to follow with a thermal expression. So my philosophy on that has been, let's take care of the inflammation by coagulating some of those small vessels that leak inflammatory mediators. And then after I've done 4 sessions of the IPL, I always do a thermal expression. So this fits in very nicely with the protocol that I've been using for over 8 years.
Oh, okay, great. We talked about this a little bit today as you were treating a couple other patients, and I asked you, how long do you think, you've been doing thermal expression with some other devices for years. How long do you think a thermal expression will last typically for a patient?
Well, a lot of that really depends on how long it's going to last, is what the condition of the meibomian glands are in. And after the initial expression, when you see the amount of meibum you're able to free, the inspensations that you're able to free up, then you just kind of do it on a basis. And that's, David, what I like about this device is without a click fee on this, we're actually able to...
It's fine. It timed out. By the way, that's a battery saver. After
Okay.
10 minutes, it turns off.
What we're able to do is we're actually able to do this more frequently on a patient. Ideally, I would love to do thermal expression on a very regular basis with patients to keep those glands clear. Because even after doing thermal expression, I've seen a patient back after a month and a half, and we look, and while the glands are still patent, they're just not quite as clear. So ideally, I would love to be able to perform in something that you don't have a click fee, you don't have an activator. You could really position this in your practice where you could do it pretty rapidly. You could do it every couple of months on the patient and keep those glands free.
Okay, great. Let's see. Some of these are questions around kind of more directed at me, actually.
Okay.
More, kind of what is the cost of a device and that sort of thing. And I'm off camera, everyone, you can tell. But the price of the device is $12,995. and there are no disposables. So it's a one-time purchase. And I will also say that look on your ODs on Facebook page, because in the next week you're going to see some special promotions that will make it even more affordable. Let's see, when would you expect patients to feel an improvement in their symptoms after treatment?
Well, typically with thermal expression, what I will tell the patients is initially they're going to feel a little bit more dryness because we force that meibum out and we've removed some of the inspensations, but the meibomian glands have to then produce some of the more meibum to fill it up. So I'll tell the patient at least 8 hours there's going to be more dryness. You'll have to use artificial tears. It could last a couple of days depending on how active the meibomian glands are to actually start producing, but that's when we start to see patients get very comfortable and start to notice a difference.
What do you think about techs performing this treatment? What kind of has been your protocol, and what will you do with this going forward in terms of techs?
I think that's going to vary state law to state law, and the comfortable nature that you have with the technicians that you have. I happen to have technicians I'd feel very comfortable them performing the procedure because I've seen them perform other procedures. But I think it's very amenable to technicians doing this, and everybody can just to their comfort level introduce that, or if they prefer to do it themselves, you saw that it does not real time consuming.
This is more of a kind of almost a business type question, but some docs haven't had devices or treatment technologies in their office, and this is an out-of-pocket charge, right? And how do you have that discussion with the patient? How do you position it? Curious as to what your approach is, because you've been doing this for quite a while.
Well, I think it's important when you look at the meibomian glands to advise the patient right away that there's been some longer term damage from the chronic nature of the dry eye disease that have caused the obstruction of the meibomian glands. And while you may start acute treatment right away to take care of some of the symptoms, I advise them just from the very first visit that we're going to need to do something to take care of the obstruction and some of the damage that's occurred over the years. So I feel introducing it right away and letting them know. And then really your staff can give them the pricing, and that's totally up to your practice, how you want to handle that, and get those patients scheduled. But I know with my procedures, sometimes, and I would say well over 50% of the time, the next time I see the patient, I'm actually seeing him for a procedure as opposed to when I would be seeing him for follow-ups on a medication I've prescribed. So patients seem to, when they have this type of problem, they want answers, and a lot of patients will go ahead and schedule that right away.
There was one chat that I got that was asking about the temperature of the actual instrument. So I'll answer that one. So each instrument's a little bit different, but it goes from 42 Celsius to 44, and the massage head is actually 44 degrees Celsius. So we're getting that lid up to that 41.5 kind of magic number that melts the meibum. That's really all the questions that we had. I really want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank the patient as well for. And I know right after we turn this off, we're Dr. V is going to treat the other eye because we want to make sure the patient's very happy. But thank you, everyone. We want to respect your time, so we're gonna keep this at 30 minutes. And please feel free to reach out, and please fill out that survey link that we sent out. Appreciate it very much, and thank you again for participating.